Welcome to the Hey Gen podcast. Today we're diving into the delicious world of donut shop equipment. Let's get started.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So, what are we talking about first?
Well, have you ever wondered how your favorite donuts get their perfect shape every time?
Yeah, actually, it's always puzzled me.
It's all thanks to something called a donut depositor.
Mm-hmm.
It's this nifty machine that consistently dispenses batter or dough into a fryer.
Oh, so it's like a batter dispenser?
Exactly. There are two common types, cake donut depositors and raised donut depositors.
Right.
Each is designed for different kinds of dough.
That's interesting. What's the difference between them?
Well, cake donut depositors handle a thicker batter,
Okay.
while raised donut depositors deal with yeast-based doughs that need to rise before frying.
Got it. Speaking of rising, how do they make sure the dough rises properly?
Great question. They use a proofer, which is basically a controlled environment where yeast-raised dough can rise before frying.
Oh, like a warm, humid box?
Exactly. And some proofers have what's called Dutch doors. They're split doors that open separately, so you don't lose all the heat and humidity when you open them.
That's clever. It keeps the internal environment stable.
Yeah, it's super efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Maintaining that consistent environment is crucial for the dough to rise properly.
I never knew there was so much science behind donuts.
Oh, absolutely. And temperature control doesn't stop there. Fryers need thermostat-controlled heat to keep the oil at the perfect temperature.
Right, because too hot or too cold would mess up the donuts.
Exactly. Consistent oil temperature ensures the donuts cook evenly and come out golden brown.
Yeah. So, what happens after frying?
After frying, the donuts rest on a drain tray, which collects excess oil.
Oh, okay.
It helps keep things clean and sometimes doubles as a cover for the fryer.
That's efficient.
It really is. And of course, the type of fryer matters too. You have to consider the size, power source, like electric or gas, and the shortening capacity.
Shortening capacity? What's that about?
That's how much oil or fat the fryer can hold. It
Right.
affects how many donuts you can fry at once.
Makes sense. So, choosing the right equipment is pretty critical.
Definitely. And don't forget about safety. Proper ventilation and fire suppression systems are a must when using these fryers.
Yeah, frying oil at high temperatures can be dangerous.
Exactly. You need to remove excess grease and heat to prevent any fire hazards.
Absolutely. So, what's next after frying and draining?
Well, then comes the fun part, glazing and decorating. But that's a whole other topic.
Can't wait to dive into that another time.
Same here. Oh, and one more thing about depositors, the plunger and cylinder. They have to match in size to function properly.
Plunger and cylinder? Can you explain that?
Sure. The plunger is the part that pushes the dough out, and the cylinder is what shapes it.
I
They
see.
work together to make that perfect donut shape.
So, if they're mismatched, the donuts won't come out right?
Exactly. It's like using the wrong mold. It just doesn't work.
Got it. Attention to detail is key.
Absolutely. And speaking of details, there are different donut mixes too. Cake donut mix and yeast-raised mixes.
Right. Depending on the type of donut you want to make.
Exactly. Cake mixes give you dense cake-like donuts, while
Yeah.
yeast mixes make lighter, airier ones.
So, it's important to choose the right mix for the desired texture.
You got it.
You know, all this talk is making me want to start a donut shop.
Haha. Well, now you know the equipment you'd need.
True, but isn't it expensive to set up?
It can be, but investing in quality equipment pays off in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, efficient equipment can boost productivity and consistency.
That's a good point. Consistency keeps customers coming back.
Exactly. Oh, and before I forget, mounting brackets are crucial when attaching a depositor to a fryer.
Really? Why's that?
They secure the depositor, allowing for precise dough deposition into the oil. Plus,
okay.
they can be configured based on your space.
So flexibility in setup is important too.
Definitely, every kitchen layout is different.
You know, earlier you mentioned safety, but do all shops really need those ventilation systems?
Absolutely. Proper ventilation and fire suppression aren't just recommendations. They're necessities.
Yeah?
Safety first, always.
I guess cutting corners there could be dangerous.
Precisely. It's not worth the risk.
You're right. Safety shouldn't be compromised.
Exactly. So, whether you're making donuts at home or running a shop, it's important to use the right equipment properly.
This has been so enlightening.
I'm glad you think so. Donut
Yeah.
making is both an art and a science.
Definitely. I have a whole new appreciation for my morning donuts now.
Haha, mission accomplished.
So, what's the takeaway for our listeners today?
I'd say, next time you enjoy a donut, remember all the equipment and precision that goes into making that delightful treat.
And maybe consider trying to make some yourself.
Absolutely. Just don't forget the proper safety measures.
Right. Well, this has been a delicious discussion. Thanks for sharing all this info.
My pleasure, and thank you for your great questions.
Anytime. Can't wait for our next chat.
Me neither. Until then, happy donut eating.
Haha, you too.